if you're the football, because that would mean you'd have to fumble the football. You don't fumble the player. The player on the team doesn't fumble each other. The ball is what gets fumbled. So that would then mean if you're being fumbled, you're playing both sides. You're playing the other team and you're playing him. So you really don't care what's going on in the situation or the game or whatever is being played. All you care about is the end result, which means if the quarterback, the wide receiver, whichever defensive player has a magnificent game, they award that football to the star person or the person who was the most valuable player of the game. So then that would then mean if you go a little farther down the line, you're waiting for your cash out. What's going on? It's Will McCraven coming to you another day with another video. Hit that like, share, subscribe button. Make sure you click that notification bell. Leave a comment down below. Be gladly appreciated. If you'd like to make a donation, feel free to click that link or tap into that link that's showing up on the bottom of the screen. And of course, as I always say, without further ado, we'll get right up on into this. I want to talk about fumble. You know, I see that a lot online. And it's more so with the women that are saying that, making that statement. And I don't think you all understand what you're actually saying. I mean, it sounds good, but technically speaking, it isn't good. And from the aspect, well, from a guy's aspect, the way I'm looking at it, if you say a guy fumbled you, I'm highly suggesting that a guy run away, walk away, get away from you expeditiously, because it's going to tell him that you saying that you want a partner, you don't want a partner. And a lot of times we hear like, oh yes, I'm looking for my partner, and you want all things to be equal when reality is you don't. And when we think of fumble, the first thing comes to our mind as a guy is football. So if a guy is fumbling you and you're thinking of it in terms of football, that would mean you're the football. That would also mean you're not his partner. Because if you was his partner, that means you would be his teammate, which that would then mean you're either that offensive line, you're that running back, you're that wide receiver, you're the tight end. So, and he's more or less the quarterback or whatever other position, who's playing whatever position. Most times the quarterback is the lead position, so we'll just say the guy is the quarterback. If he's handing it off to the running back, who's the running back? If you're the football, because that would mean you'd have to fumble the football. You don't fumble the player. The player on the team doesn't fumble each other. The ball is what gets fumbled. So that would then mean if you're being fumbled, you're playing both sides. You're playing the other team and you're playing him. So you really don't care what's going on in the situation or the game or whatever is being played. All you care about is the end result, which means if the quarterback, the wide receiver, whichever defensive player has a magnificent game, they award that football to the star person or the person who was the most valuable player of the game. So then that would then mean if you go a little farther down the line, you're waiting for your cash out. So you're looking to cash out from whichever star player eventually has a name, and that ball goes to auction to the highest bidder. So how then are you a teammate? How then are you a partner? If you're looking to cash in on the back end, this is why a lot of guys are looking at it like, I don't think I want to rock with you, because you might be posing to where you're trying to capitalize on that football being, such and such game. oh, this was a marquee game, and he played and he ran such and such numbers. He ran for 300 yards. He scored 2 touchdowns, and on top of it, if he signs the ball, which signs his last name to you, you get to cash in. How is that being a partner? How is that being a teammate? You're not doing nothing but letting yourself be tossed around, handed off, back and forth to whoever is end up being the marquee player of that game. How is he building anything with you? He's not. You're not in the trenches with him. You're not fighting. Well, you're not fighting in the trenches with him as a part of going through every single day life. You're just sitting back, relaxing, kicking your feet up, propping up, and it's like, oh yeah, I'm just here. Whoever performs is whoever performs, but I'm not performing. I'm just here. I'm collecting. This is how guys see it. You're just an object. But if a guy turns around and says, and he decides to treat you like an object, you being the football, you're upset. How are you upset when you've cast yourself into the position to be treated as an object? You're the football. You felt like he fumbled you. You were never on his team. So to think that you being fumbled is an issue when you're never on his team to begin with, that's a direct reflection to you, not him. Now, it's different if you were on the team, going to practice every day, participating in practice every day, and not just being tossed around, chugged around. It's a whole different ball game, because then he can accept when you're pointing the finger at him when you're actually doing something in practice, when you're actually training and he sees the results and what you're doing. He can then be more receptive of your criticism as opposed to you just being the football and you show up on practice day, you show up on game day. You're there to look pretty. When the conditions change and they're all on you being the ball, no one's holding you responsible. And this is how guys are seeing it. No one's holding the woman responsible, which you hear a lot of times out here saying, guys are saying to women that you're not being accountable because you're the football. The football has no accountability. It's just there to be there and the game to be played. This is what a lot of women have turned into. They've turned into the football. Unfortunately, we don't want the football. We're not looking for the football. We're looking for the team player, which you're saying that you want to be a partner, which then means you're being a part of something. We're going to rock with you on that regard. We're going to rock with you every single time. We call football, this is family. We take care of those who are in the trenches with us. But if you're not in the trenches and you just want to be the football, there's no loyalty there, because whoever wins the game is where the winning football goes. So he's fighting the opposing side, and the opposing side wins. You're on that side. You're not on his side. You don't really care, because it doesn't mean anything to you. All you're concerned about is the end result. When he's concerned about every single play, every single down. Because when he started looking back, oh yeah, we did such and such on this play. Or when he goes back and there's an issue that needs to be fixed, this is why there's an issue here. Because when we are looking at this as the game, the football, the team, we're going back in film and checking it. How can we make improvements here? But when a guy turns around and brings up, hey, such and such and such and such, this is such and such, or this is how we correct, you don't want to hear that. Why? Because you have football mentality. You're the football. The football doesn't have anything to do with, oh, okay, I wasn't the play. The play wasn't ran for me. I don't have to do anything, simply because you decided to be the football instead of being the teammate. So every time he speaks on accountability and wants you to start being accountable while he be accountable himself, as a star player, he has to take responsibility. All the blame is going to be on him. When you're doing with other things, if you miss an assignment, how can he say anything when you want him to be the football? It's not. He's fighting by himself. So when you get a guy who starts talking about, hey, let's split this, and I need you to do this and do that, and you're saying you don't want to, you're telling him you want to be the football. Nothing about the game is concerning you, but you being tossed around, all this and that, and eventually you get to cash in if the star player signs this big, or he builds this great career, and it's like, oh, okay, you done enough. Now it's time for me to cash in. Let's find out and see who I can go to the highest bidder and walk out of here with all these coins while you did absolutely nothing. This is what guys are griping about. This is what they're griping about. Instead of you saying you want to be the partner and the teammate, and you sit right here, or either you sitting in on this side, and we're both in the press conference, and I may be answering all the questions, and you sit back and you smile and answer a few and this and that, or whoever you answering to. It's like, oh, we feel like we're together here. You're sitting back wherever they tuck the balls off, and he's just sitting there by himself taking all the bullets, all the negativity, all the blame. And then when it comes down to it, when it's all said and done, he's looking like he's the can't think of buddy name right now. A Thurman comes to mind. Brian Kelly went to the Super Bowl 4 times and didn't win. That whole Buffalo Bills team went to the Super Bowl and didn't win. They looked at totally different from the guys like Troy Aikman, who succeeded in all this. It's like, wow. Yeah. What? Barry Sanders gets all the accolades that he accumulated, but he's still not regarded in the same. He may be considered the best running back of all time, but they're still like, oh, you couldn't be such and such. No team around him. It's a little different with football, though, than basketball. Basketball, you're like, oh, with T-Mac, he never got out of the first round. Never thinks about nothing but the teammates, but look, stop saying a guy fumbled you. You're telling guys who know better, saying that you're not a team player. He fumbled you. Oh, you wasn't doing nothing. You sat around. You were the football, and he did all the work. Why would I pick you? From a man's perspective, I wouldn't pick you to say, you couldn't pay me to pick you. You couldn't give me Bill Gates, Zuckerberg, all their money combined to pick you. You're not going to do anything. You're no benefit to me at all. Because all you're going to do is be the object that's just sitting there. And whatever you think is whatever better situation or whatever situation that you think that you can just float to and be tossed around with, you're getting touched by everybody. Why would I want somebody who's getting touched by everybody on the team? No, I want someone who's riding with me. And we're actually going to touch the football, make the football get to the end zone. Not you just going whichever way direction whoever's tossing you. You're no benefit. You're a toss around. And this is what we say, you're a jump off. Why are we picking you? Only goofies do that. And then we sit back and we laugh at the goofy. So neither the goofy looks good or you look good. But when we tell you these things, you're not trying to hear these things because you're fixated on what you're fixated on. And you need to be unfixated on these type of things and actually be a team player. A team player. But you're afraid of being a team player because you've been through all of these disappointments and you're not really taught to, be in the trenches. Actually do some real work. And understand that there are going to be disappointments regardless of what you do in this life. You're going to be disappointed. We understand that as guys. We're trained to be that way. You're going to get disappointed. It's so bad now that we know that if we pick one of you all, it's a definite disappointment. And guys are looking at it, No point getting married. She ain't gonna do nothing but leave anyway. She's a toss around football. You guys got to switch it up and get from being the football to actually being the teammate. If you're saying you want to be a partner, you have to literally be the teammate. Be the teammate. You're going to lose. You're playing this. I mean, of course, no one wants to be the Cleveland Browns. No one wants to be the Cleveland Browns. And currently, a lot of people don't want to be Dallas Cowboys. And yeah, it's all shiny with no results. It looks good, but it ain't producing nothing. And that's more or less because the owners suck. But you don't want to be the football. Be a team player. And when you're a team player, you will not utter words like, "You fumbled me." Maybe he lost the game or he didn't perform well. But again, when you're on that team and you're a true teammate, we all understand is like, what could I have done better to actually help us win? This is what we say when we play sports and do other things that require us to actually have an end goal. Guys get together and say, what could I have done to have done better? Now, unfortunately, there's a lot of guys being raised by women who are not saying this, and I see this in the workforce, and they don't be thinking about, okay, what I could have done better to make everything flow smoothly. No, they got that same selfish mentality like a lot of you women do. Well, they'll just move exactly like you are, and us guys who know it just look like, who man is this? Who man is this? Get this dude out of here. Get him out of here. We don't want no parts of that guy. So it's the same that apply to you all. We'll want no parts of you. And you'll have dudes who will just take you all along just to smash, and then he done. And that's a whole nother problem too. Now, I ain't even gonna talk about that right now, but that's a whole nother big problem. But the reality is, you all have to learn how to be a teammate. And you all don't know how to be a teammate. You just rather be the football so you can run around here and say somebody fumbled you. Or cash in on the back end. Why cash in on the back end when you have a guy who's in position to possibly make you look good, and he's going to make sure that you look good to get you a big payday? You know, that's how it happens. Real football players and true teammates understand it. I can't do what it is I'm doing without you. So I'm going to make sure you get paid too. You get a benefit. Rather than being the football, make him do all the work, and then he cash in and then you take it. No. Real legit men gonna make sure you good as well as I'm good, and make sure we perform well and that everybody's accountable. But I'm gonna make sure I'm accountable first, and then I can turn around and show you how to be accountable. We're gonna do that. And then when we start performing and start hitting marks and checking off marks, winning games and having a great winning percentage, you gonna get paid too. It ain't just me. That's how that works. It's not I. And I'm trying to use you for my benefit. No. A lot of you all don't even know how to recognize that either. When it's an actual guy there for your benefit, trying to help everybody within the situation, that everyone prospers. Yeah, a lot of y'all don't see that. You just think it's, oh, he's just trying to get over. But I'm gonna make sure I get mine. No, that ain't working. And the way it's going ain't working at all. It needs to be tossed out. But with that being said, fix your face, fix your spirit. It's Will My Craven. Hit that like and subscribe button. Make sure you hit that notification bell. Share, be gladly appreciated. And as I always say, be easy.